There we go. Okay, we got one more beer to do from the Tatamagouche Brewing. And this is a seasonal thingy of theirs. They've done another one or at least one of these before. I've done one of them before. It's kind of like a little series. I think it's like kind of almost a one hop series, if I'm not mistaken. This is their Intertidal Bravo West Coast Pale Ale. So basically, not West Coast IPA, but using hop varieties or whatever in the style of like a West Coast IPA, but just West Coast Pale Ale. So lighter in strength, 5.3% alcohol by volume. And let's share the screen real quick, see if they say anything different on the website. So there we go. Let's share that. Okay, so there is the Intertidal Bravo West Coast Pale Ale. So I don't know if they necessarily 100% say on the actual description, but I'm assuming they're using Bravo hops here. And if they are, that makes sense because Bravo is a really good substitute for like Chinook and Warrior and hops like that usually pop up in a West Coast style IPA or Pale Ale because they got a lot of the same characteristics like the piney grapefruit, approaching dank, bitter hops, cat pee, if you want to say that one. Cat pee is the new horse blanket. Well, maybe it was the new horse blanket for a time. I feel like it kind of was. So this West Coast Pale Ale separates itself from the pack by being brewed with a mineral-rich water profile that accentuates bold American hops, both in flavor and firm bitterness. To be determined. I don't need to know the notes. And water, malt, hops, yeast, 5.3% alcohol by volume. All right, that's all we need to know from that. That's fine. Okay, cool. Let's open this up and see if it's West Coasty and if it's a pale ale and all that other great stuff that we do when we review beers and they say there's thing and then we see if they are that thing and if they're good at being that thing. That's what it's all about, right? And then CB Fall Intertidal Bravo, superb name for an ale. Love it. Yeah, it's a nice name. I like it. All right, so there we go. It looks pretty much straight up like amber orange on your screen. On mine, my eye screen, my life screen, where I'm looking out at it, it's a golden straw color. So it looks good. It looks the part. I like the head on it too. Nice foamy head. It's a good looking beer. Let's go with the aroma. It's slight, but there's like an overall kind of like grassy lightness to it, and then you get a little bit of like pine, a little bit of grapefruit. Not super intense. And again, this is not an IPA; it's a pale ale. So I have to like remind my brain that I'm smelling a pale ale. I'm not smelling an IPA. You shouldn't expect big, bold, fuck you in the face kind of aromas. Smells very nice. Very light, very unassuming, but nice. So far, the Bravo hops are doing their job, kind of replicating like your Chinooks, your Warriors, your whatever other West Coast Cascade. Mm. All right, not getting more out of that, so we'll go right to the taste. Cheers. Good bitterness. American Pale Ale for sure. Had this been released 25 years ago, almost at this point. Yeah, 20 years ago, 20. Yeah, about 25 years ago at this point. Had this been released about 25 years ago at this point in the US of A, this could have passed for a IPA because the bitterness is pretty big. Now it's just like what you expect from pale ale from the US or pretty much anywhere else at this point, honestly, other than like England. Mm. It's got the grapefruit in there, but it's kind of that grapefruit where it's more like it's not puckering and sour. It's kind of like grapefruit with sugar kind of idea. Like it's got a little slight sweetness to it. The pine is there in the background. It dries out pretty good. There's a nice lingering dryness on this. The body is upper light bodied, drinks very smoothly, goes down very smoothly. It's got a crisp finish to it. Mm. This is really good. Like I said, had it been like 25 years ago, you could have told me this was an American IPA and I would have believed you. Honestly, if you told me this was an IPA, I would have believed you. Because my standards for IPA are probably different than some people's. Because the bitterness here is pretty damn good. It's not intense, like I said, it lingers, but it's not like burning out your palate. It's just really good. Oh, excuse me, I'm burping here. Mm. This is a really fucking good beer. And it's very simple. It's just like a very nice West Coast style beer. Honestly, like again, like I said, could be an IPA if you wanted to sell it as that. But as a pale ale, American pale ale, yes, fits into those standards very well. From start to finish, it's a good drink. Mm. It's just a pretty looking beer too. Yeah, there's that pine, there's that grapefruit, and there's a sweetness in there. Probably like it's probably a caramel malt character more than anything else that's like subtly in there. Some West Coast beers, West Coast style IPAs and the like will have like a bigger malt character, and it'll be like a like a caramel malt character that will come out a little bit bigger. It'll kind of like push back the hops a little bit. In this case, it's more the hops are showcased, and they're pushing back the malt a lot. So there's a balance thing there going on, but it's really good. It's really really good. I like it a lot, honestly. As a pale ale, American pale ale, basically, I don't think I wrote American pale. I just wrote West Coast pale ale. It's my style, but like I'm grading this basically on American pale ale style. It's a 9. It's really good. You can't do much better, honestly. Um, it hits all the notes. It does it very well. It's enjoyable from start to finish. What else can you say? My own personal preference, I'll sit an 8. I've had better pale ales, ones that have done maybe a one or two things a little differently, but it's still great. It's really, really fucking good. Tatamagouche makes good beers. If you haven't if you haven't sort of garnered that from watching these reviews tonight. Even the two that were like kind of disappointments, the Grisette I rated bad as far as personal preference, but that was just my personal preference. There was nothing wrong really style wise. It was still perfectly okay style wise. Um, and that's the thing. Tatamagouche makes good beers. Some of them are not for everybody, but they they take the time to get shit nailed down. Is what I'm finding with this brewery. And honestly, if I'm being totally candid here, they're probably my favorite brewery overall now from the Maritimes in Nova Scotia, especially. I still love Propeller and Garrison, and they still make decent beers here and there. But they've really kind of become like, oh, we do our thing, and this all we do kind of thing. Um, Tatamagouche seems to always be trying something a little bit new here and there. Breweries like Tatamagouche, like Two Crows, other breweries like that are in Nova Scotia, they seem to be trying to expand their horizons and keep things interesting. They haven't gotten too big for their britches. Not that I'm saying Propeller and Garrison have, but Propeller and Garrison are kind of on a plateau at this point. It feels like every once in a while they'll surprise me with something like really good, but mostly it's, oh, here's our kind of okay seasonal, and they've become like less exciting craft brewers and more like regional stalwarts, I guess is the way to put it. And honestly, a lot of their more interesting beers they don't do anymore, which is very disappointing. Like if Garrison went back to making that Italian Pilsner they made a few years ago, I'd be on board. But they don't do that anymore for some fucking reason. I don't know why. I guess it didn't sell very well or something. I don't know. Maybe I was the only one buying it. But Tatamagouche, they consistently have been impressing me with their stuff, and this is no different. The Intertidal Bravo West Coast Pale Ale. Really good. And we're going to get out of here. And CB Fall said, good summer review, Lee. Thank you, CB Fall. Hope you have a good night. Hope all you guys, wherever you are, where you're watching at night, day, just have a good one. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, either way, thanks for watching, and we'll get the fuck out of here. I got more drinking to do. So that's what I'm going to do that. So bye-bye. And CB Fall is going to heed. He's going to abide to my my demands. Oh, indeedly. Yeah, there you go. Have a good night.